Welcome back to TV5 News at 9. Today we are talking about the flu vaccination. Joining us this morning is Terry Adams with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, you're welcome. So tell us about the second dose of the flu vaccine. Who needs it and why?
Yeah, sure. So flu vaccinations are so important for our pediatric patients, and children 6 months through 8 years are really recommended to have the influenza vaccine. If it's their first year for receiving flu vaccine, it's called a primer dose, and it's very important the first season that they ever receive influenza vaccine to make sure their system is ready to fight off the flu virus, and then that gets them ready for the rest of their lives to fight off influenza. So the first season that they ever receive influenza vaccine, they need 2 doses to prime their immune system to then fight off the flu disease. So important that they get that second dose.
Yeah, during this coronavirus vaccine, how has COVID-19 impacted routine childhood vaccinations?
Oh my goodness, so impacted childhood and immunizations. For one, we've been quarantined, right? So
yeah.
We've had to stay in our homes. Parents have been instructed to stay at home, and pediatric offices have really suffered by that because parents haven't wanted to get their kids out. They've been fearful to bring them around other folks, and so they've been worried about getting their kids in congregated settings, which that includes pediatric offices, family care offices, and so that's impacted our pediatric well child appointments, which then in turn impacts immunizations. And so our pediatric rates have really dropped, lower than they've been in years. We actually dropped just below 70%, and there a few years ago we were at 76% for pediatric rates that we measure at 19 to 36 months. And for a state the size of Michigan, that is huge for us to drop that low. And when we drop that low, we worry about diseases starting to circulate. So really, really impacted it. And what's impacted greatly this year has been influenza.
We really want to get our kids, all of our kids, vaccinated. So tell us, why are childhood vaccinations so important?
Well, one of the things that are so important are the diseases that are easily spread, and one of those is measles. And we've had a resurgence of measles in the past few years, so it's easily communicable and something that spreads so easy. You can have a case of measles, someone in the elevator, and a couple hours later, someone else gets in the elevator, and they can get measles just from that airborne disease. And so when we talk about measles spreading easily amongst school and child care centers from kids who aren't vaccinated or behind on their immunizations, that can spread so easily in communities. And we had an outbreak just a few years ago of measles, and measles can be really impactful on children, not just the ill effects that are left behind, but can be deadly. And so when we see disease rates drop, not just down into the 90s, but down into the 70s, we get really scared about that. And so we do have school requirements that say kids have to be vaccinated, but we also have child care requirements. And those are put in place just to keep kids protected when they get in congregate settings. And that's why we worry about childhood immunizations.
That's right. Now, Terry, if parents feel like their kids, or they know that their kids are behind on their vaccinations, how can they get their children caught up?
First of all, calling their pediatricians, getting an appointment. Pediatricians have done a great job. We work with the American Academy of Pediatrics to help them get their offices ready, put in place a lot of practices when COVID hit to let parents know that their offices are safe to bring their kids back for their well child appointments. So call their pediatricians, call their local health departments, call their health care centers, wherever they go for immunizations. There are also now pharmacies that can offer vaccinations as well. So we're making it easy to get childhood vaccinations so much more than ever before. And there are practices in place. You can call ahead now Most pediatricians will let you call ahead, make an appointment, wait in the car. You don't have to wait in a waiting room with other folks. Come in when your appointment is ready. They'll bring you right back to the exam room, get your well child, get your vaccinations, do all of your checkout right there in the room, and then leave so you're not exposed to other folks. So there's a lot of new practices in place that weren't there before. You can even do telemedicine for well child and then come in just for vaccinations. So there's a lot of things that are put in place now with a lot less exposure to other folks. So parents shouldn't be so concerned about bringing their kids in for immunizations to get them caught up.
Yes.
So we're not as worried about it as much.
Well, thank you so much for joining us with this valuable information. We appreciate you calling in this morning.
We appreciate your concern.
Yes.
And we love our kids in Michigan, and
Yes,
we
we
want to
do.
protect them.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much. We love them all. Thank you so much. And if you'd like any more information about today's topic, you can head on over to the hot link section of WNEM.com.